So let's discuss about the fate of light energy absorbed by the photosynthetic pigment. Now each photon represents a quantum of light energy. Okay, so the molecule of chlorophyll, when does the absorption of light, the molecule of chlorophyll becomes excited and goes to a higher energy state. Okay, molecule of chlorophyll does the absorption of light, and after the absorption of light, this molecule of chlorophyll becomes excited and it goes to a higher energy state. Now this excited chlorophyll molecule is not stable because it is excited, it has high energy, and that is the reason why this excited chlorophyll molecules return rapidly to the ground level. So what happens is, chlorophyll absorbs the light, it becomes excited chlorophyll, and this excited chlorophyll is not stable, and that is the reason why this excited chlorophyll returns rapidly to the ground state. So this excited chlorophyll molecules come to the ground state. Okay, it will release energy while coming to ground state, and there are three possible ways by which this excited chlorophyll molecule comes to the ground state. Okay, there are three possible way of becoming from excited chlorophyll molecule to the ground state chlorophyll molecule. Now the first way is to convert this extra energy into heat or some combination of heat and light which has a long wavelength. Okay, that is the first way to convert an excited chlorophyll molecule to the ground state chlorophyll molecule. You convert that extra energy into heat, or you convert that extra energy into some combination of heat and light of long wavelength. Now the second way of converting the excited state of the chlorophyll molecule to the ground state is by transfer of energy directly to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule. Okay, there would be a neighboring chlorophyll molecule, the excited state of that chlorophyll molecule, the energy in that excited state is directly transferred to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule, and that is how that excited chlorophyll comes to the ground state. This is the second way. Now the third way of converting this excited chlorophyll to its ground state is by transferring the high energy electron to another neighboring molecule which acts as an electron acceptor, and then taking up a low energy electron from some other molecule which acts as electron donor. So this is what is happening. Okay, this excited chlorophyll molecule is giving away its high energy electron, and then it is accepting a low energy electron. Okay, that is how this excited chlorophyll molecule is coming to the ground state. It is giving away its high energy electron to some other molecule which is acting as an electron acceptor, and it is accepting a low energy electron from some other molecule which is acting as an electron donor. This is the third way by which your excited chlorophyll molecule can come to the ground state, the third way. Now the last two mechanisms, that is the second mechanism and the third mechanism, are being exploited in the process of photosynthesis. So these two mechanisms are being exploited in the process of photosynthesis. That is, the excited chlorophyll will transfer energy to the neighboring chlorophyll and will come to the ground state, or the excited chlorophyll will donate high energy electron and then will accept the low energy electron and then will come to the ground state. These two mechanisms are being exploited or being used in the process of the photosynthesis. So we saw that there are three processes by which you can convert the excited chlorophyll into its ground state. Okay, the first process was by losing energy as heat or combination of heat or light. The second mechanism was by transferring the energy to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule, and the third mechanism by which you can convert an excited chlorophyll into its ground state is by donating a high energy electron and then accepting a low energy electron. Now let's see these three processes in detail. So the first process is all about converting the extra energy into heat or some combination of heat or light of a longer wavelength. Okay, when you do this, you convert that light energy into a light of a longer wavelength. That thing is fluorescence. Okay, you take a light energy and then you convert that light energy into some combination of heat and a light of a longer wavelength. This thing is nothing but fluorescence. Now this excited chlorophyll molecule, which is in the singlet state, has a maximum lifetime of 10⁻⁻⁸ seconds. Okay, the chlorophyll molecule remains in the excited state for only 10⁻⁸ seconds, and this is because of the fact that the chlorophyll molecule has an inherent tendency to fluoresce. Okay, and the fact is that this excited chlorophyll molecule can undergo various modes of non-radiative as well as radiative decay, which is known as luminescence. Okay, so this excited chlorophyll molecule can show fluorescence as well as luminescence. So this excited chlorophyll molecule can come to the ground state by showing fluorescence as well as luminescence. Now the fate of this excited molecule, the fate of the excited molecule of chlorophyll depends upon the pathway which is taken by excitation energy. Okay, which pathway does this excitation energy takes? On that, the fate of the excited molecule depends, whether it will show fluorescence or luminescence or any other way by which it can come to the ground state. It all depends upon the pathway taken by the excitation energy. Now, depending upon the mode of radioactive decay, the radiative decay, the luminescence can also be called fluorescence, or it can be called phosphorescence, or etc. Okay, whether the luminescence is being called fluorescence or phosphorescence depends upon the mode of radiative decay. Now once the excited molecule has returned to one of the lower vibrational sublevels of the first excited single state, that excited molecule can return to one of the lower vibrational sublevels of the ground state by emitting a photon as a fluorescence. Okay, first the excited molecule will return to one of the lower vibrational sublevels of the first excited singlet state, and after that it will return to one of the lower vibrational sublevels of the ground state, and that excited molecule return to this lower vibrational sublevel of the ground state by emitting a photon as a fluorescence. There is another important energy pathway, okay, which is called inter-system crossing. In inter-system crossing, what is happening is that there is conversion of the excited singlet state into excited triplet state, and this conversion of the excited singlet state to the excited triplet state is followed by a radiative or non-radiative decay of the excited triplet state to the ground state. So this is how the inter-system crossing looks like. Okay, the chlorophyll molecule from ground state absorbs the light energy and it goes to excited singlet state, and from that excited singlet state it goes to excited triplet state, and from that excited triplet state it comes to ground state by radiative or non-radiative decay. Okay, this is your intersystem crossing. So when the chlorophyll molecule goes from the excited triplet state to the ground state and it goes by a radiative pathway, then light is emitted, and that is known as phosphorescence. Okay, when the chlorophyll molecule goes from the excited triplet state to the ground state through a radiative pathway, a light is emitted, and this emission of light, because of this, is known as phosphorescence. Now let's look at the second way of bringing your excited chlorophyll molecule to the ground state. So in second way, in the second process, there is transfer of energy to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule. Okay, we don't transfer the electrons. There is no transferring of electron to the neighboring molecule, but there is transferring of energy to the neighboring molecule, and we transfer this energy from the excited chlorophyll molecule to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule by a process which is known as resonance energy transfer. And this resonant energy transfer is also called as Forster transfer. Okay, so by this resonance energy transfer, you transfer the energy to the neighboring chlorophyll molecule, and that is how you bring the excited chlorophyll molecule to the ground state. Now the excitation energy of the excited chlorophyll molecule is being trapped by the reaction center. Okay, energy goes from the excited chlorophyll to the chlorophyll of the reaction center, and the chlorophyll of the reaction center accepts this energy because of the fact that the chlorophyll of the reaction center has a lower energy than the antenna molecules. Okay, if you are comparing with the antenna molecules, then chlorophyll of the reaction center has a lower energy, and that is the reason why this excitation energy is trapped by the chlorophyll in the reaction center. So the third way of bringing the excited chlorophyll molecule to its ground state is by transferring the high energy electron to another nearby molecule which acts as an electron acceptor, and then returning to original ground state by taking up a low energy electron from the other molecule which acts as electron donor. So you donate your high energy electron to an electron acceptor and then receive or take up a low energy electron from the electron donor. That is how the excited chlorophyll comes to its ground state. Now the photochemical reaction of the photosynthesis are one of the fastest known chemical reaction. Okay, this photochemical reaction is a very fast reaction, very fast chemical reaction. So that's all for this video. Thanks for reading with Muffin.